Hello to all my friends out there, and this video is chatting over tea on the stockpile, chatting over tea on food for a month, and chatting over the tea on eating a little vegetarian food. So, okay, I bought this tea. I like this one. I bought it at Dollar Tree, but if you notice, it's really black tea. So, I have stores out here where I can buy really high quality black tea. I might do it. I already put the sugar in because, you know, it's hard to do this and put the sugar in, so I have sugar. And I just keep this little thing in the freezer, and these are deceptive because these little creamers hold a cup. So I have a little peach tea. Let me taste this. It's very delicious, I can already tell you that. And I'll just give you a little shot of my caddy in case you haven't followed me. You know, I needed some stuff to keep my tea party, and this has 3 feet. It's nothing but cute. When I bought it, I intended to sell it, but then I said, no, I can't sell it. I love it too much. And I bought this tea and this sugar at the thrift store for $4, and I thought, really, it's not even worth $1. Can you believe this? This is the thing about teapots. They kind of have a life of their own, and it's probably one of my favorite teapots. And then I bought a bunch of these creamers and sugar, but for some reason the glass ones don't have a top on the sugar, so I prefer the ones with the top. And look at how destructive I am to all my tea party stuff. And of course I can't find any more. Okay, so up here I have some vanilla wafers, and I just keep them in the freezer. You know, this way I have no room in my freezer. But what I did when I bought these cookies is I made sure I got the biggest box. It was 11 ounces of cookies because I knew darn well I'm going to drink tea and I'm going to need cookies. Also, I pretty much eliminated all dessert except for cookies because I can kind of control myself better on cookies than ice cream. Not saying I'm never eating ice cream. I'm just saying a few cookies seems to do the trick. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about moving towards a little bit of vegetarian eating. And so, you know, as luck would have it, my friend Audrey is a vegetarian, so I called her and I said, Audrey, help me, help me. My followers are wanting some vegetarian input, and as you may have noticed, I can just live on meat and potatoes and frozen vegetables, but I want to move to a little more vegetarian food, and she gave me a whole bunch of really good advice, and I am going to transmit it to you guys as best as I can. Okay, number one, you need nutritious grains, and so the first one is quinoa. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I've seen them. And so evidently it's really nutritious. And so she gave me a recipe, and with this recipe you can put fruit in it for breakfast, or you can put vegetables like zucchini, pepperoncinis for dinner. And so I was really excited because, you know, I like very nutritious sides to go with my meat, especially if I'm going to be eating some cheat meat, which I am going to be. I want my carb portion nutritious. I've been making rice with cheese, with tomatoes, and now I'm going to be making this quinoa. Okay, here's a recipe for a medley of quinoa. 2 medium onions, yellow, peeled in half, 6 garlic cloves crushed, 3 dried bay leaves, 6 sprigs fresh thyme. Okay, what's good about this so far, I have dry onions, garlic. I can't find dry garlic. I'm so mad. I'm looking. Bay leaves and thyme, and then 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon kosher salt. Okay, and I have salt. So far, so good. I have everything in the stockpile. 1 1/2 cups brown rice. I have that in the stockpile. 1 1/2 cup fallow. Okay, I had no idea what this stuff is, but I will find it. I will go to Sprouts. And 1 1/2 cups white or red quinoa rinsed. I guess, you know, it's like beans. You have to make sure there's no rocks. 1/4 teaspoon pepper. Okay, so that's all the ingredients. Let me give you one more shot in case you want to do a screenshot of my terrible writing. Okay, now for the instructions. Combine onion, garlic, thyme, bay leaves, 12 cups water, and salt. Cover and bring to a boil. So far, so good, easy. When it's a boil, stir in rice. Return to a boil. Cook 10 minutes. Add farro. Cook 10 minutes. Add quinoa and cook 8 minutes. Okay, so from now on, I'll be stockpiling quinoa and farro because, you know, I want to make good sides for my dinners. You know, when I made those rice dinners, I wasn't hungry at all. So that tells me it was good nutrition. Drain thoroughly in a fine mesh strainer to remove water. So, you know, remove water. In a rim baking sheet, spread, add salt, pepper. When cool, discard onion, thyme, bay leaf. Okay, that's all there is to it right there. To freeze, use resealable bags, thaw in microwave 1 minute. And then this is just if you want to know the fat, the fibers. Okay, that's number 1, quinoa. Number 2, hummus. Okay, I eat hummus anyway. Okay, here is the kind I buy, but I'm going to be trying to figure out how to make it from scratch. Also, you know, out here though, we have the Iraq stores where you can buy the best hummus you ever want to eat, but it's good to know how to make it yourself. I bought this at 99 cents only for $1. I think it's well worth $1. And what I usually do is I like to eat it on crackers with soup. Okay, hummus. Number 3, if you're not a strict, eggs. Eggs are pretty cheap. About the cheapest you can find them is maybe 18 cents each, but you know, how many eggs are you going to eat? And another thing is, you may have noticed bodybuilders eat a lot of eggs. Okay, now here is the cookbook we all have to find, Laurel's Kitchen. So, you know, I'm going to be scouring the thrift stores, scouring eBay, and I am going to find this book. I don't know how I'm going to find this book, but I always find stuff and people ask me, how did you find it? And I say, I don't know. I just find it. Laurel's Kitchen. You guys got to find this cookbook before I get it. Okay, beans. Okay, so I said, Audrey, like what kind of beans? Black beans? 7 beans, 7 to 10. And she oils the sides of the crock pot and pinto beans. That's a good idea, you know, if you've ever gotten your crock pot all messed up like I have. So I will be making some beans, and the crock pot is good because, you know, there's no boiling and all of that. Okay, now in the refrigerator she keeps carrots, peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers, spinach. Spinach is good. In eggs. She was mentioning vegetarian eggs with vegetables. So I'm going to be getting, she gets those big $5 bags of spinach. So I'm going to consider those. And mushrooms. Okay, I have some mushrooms canned, but I'm going to be buying some fresh mushrooms too. Okay, and then apples, and she makes applesauce, and the way I make it is not as good as the way she makes it. She covers it with water, cinnamon, brown sugar, or honey. So I covered mine in apple juice or water and just plain sugar. So, okay, I'm scrapping my applesauce recipe, and I'm going to Audrey's applesauce recipe. Thank you, Audrey. And then potatoes, you know, potatoes, sweet potatoes, I'll be getting those. And then chicken. She gets the skinless, boneless. Okay, I'm a meat eater, so, you know, I get any kind of chicken I can get. But she boils it, and she makes enchiladas, chicken salads, sandwiches, and then slices of chicken to make chicken tenders, which isn't as lazy as buying those patties at Dollar Tree. But hey, my methods are tried and true, you guys. Okay, tuna. Okay, yeah, now we're starting to get here. Tuna is very important, and if you get used to eating it all the time, if you ever had to eat your stockpile, well, you'd be in business. Okay, spaghetti. Okay, she puts mushrooms in her spaghetti, but she also makes eggplant, and she doesn't put it in the spaghetti. She puts it under the spaghetti with spaghetti sauce or on top. And she cooks it with an egg batter. And also pizza. Homemade pizzas are easy once you get the crust. I'm going to make another vegetarian. And then for the cheese, mozzarella. And you know, funny thing about mozzarella cheese is that is like one of the cheapest cheeses I can, and the Parmesan cheese, I can buy that very cheap. Okay, tofu. What I use tofu for is smoothies, but I'm going to consider tofu as a food, not just like as a smoothie food. And I'm not a great fan of tofu, but I do want to eat some. Okay, berries. Okay, I heard like to protect yourself from environmental toxins, you should eat berries. So I'm going to be buying some berries. Okay, especially blueberries. Melons in season. Okay, yogurt. Audrey was saying her grandmother used to make yogurt. In the day, she was from Finland, and I wish I knew how she made that yogurt. But I actually make yogurt too, and I'm going to be making another video on yogurt making. But there's a good one on YouTube. Just go to yogurt, making yogurt at home. There's a really good video. It's easy. Green beans. Okay, trail mix. Okay, I just thought of, you know, I've never really thought about trail mix as a food, but it only makes sense. So I made a little bag of trail mix. And what I just used what I had because, you know, I was unprepared. So I had this. I added this. I had some coconut I bought for $1. And then this month I'll be buying another one of these. I had some walnuts, and so I have my little, oh no. Okay, I have my little cute teacup from McDonald's. I love McDonald's. And I put my trail mix because I figured this little container would be about the perfect. I guess the hummus doesn't want to be on my little. Okay, I think this would be a good serving of trail mix. I don't know about nuts as a meal, but they certainly are nutritious. So I'll be coming up with some good trail mixes and some good granola and some good granola bars. And what I want to get is some dried fruit, dried apples. They have them, you know, I'm going to buy some big containers of dried dried fruit for my trail mix. Okay, whole milk. I do agree with this. You know, one time I read this story, and it was about a priest, and, you know, he was fasting. And it was like they took him to the hospital, and they were trying to convince him to eat. And finally, they were just trying to get him to drink a half a glass of milk, and he wouldn't. And somehow he was convinced to drink it because he thought it was a communion. So he drank the whole milk, just a half a cup, and he came out of the psychosis. So another thing, you know, if people are really poor and they're going without dairy, or old people, you know, I'm going to be looking for good milk products, dairy products. Another thing she mentioned, which I thought was a really good idea, is Bisquick, because you can make pancakes, you can make dumplings, and that is a good thing to stockpile. And Walmart has a brand of Bisquick, and I'm going to be buying a couple of those, and cornmeal. Cornmeal is really good. I make plain old tamale pie. In the day it was just hamburger, corn, olives, tomato sauce. You can put anything in it, and chili powder, and then you put some cornbread on top. I'm going to be making that again. Okay, I ran into a lady, as luck would have it. Oh, by the way, thanks a million, Audrey. Thank you very much. Probably we don't know how many people this is going to help. Also, vegetarians are always looking for recipes. Okay. In the grocery line, I ran into a real vegetarian, a lady, old too. One thing about vegetarians, the true ones, they don't tend to be fat. Okay, so she makes a burrito. She fries her, she heats her tortilla on a dry pan, hummus, sweet potatoes, black beans, carrots, green beans, and avocado. You notice this is kind of like almost identical to all the stuff Audrey was recommending, so I don't know who that lady was, where she came from, but I'm really grateful for this recipe. Everything in this recipe, I don't generally keep avocados around, but I'm going to start doing it, and it makes a lot of sense, you know. And she makes up enough. We were talking about these recipes. You could make up enough to freeze or eat 2 days in a row. Okay, and then this recipe also came from Audrey. And if you want to see how I made this, this is black bean burgers. And this was really good. The only thing I did is I added 1 egg. And we had them 2 days in a row. And it's really cheap and it's really good. I'm going to be doing some more black bean burgers. And so, okay, you guys. You know, I was telling Audrey... when people are helped by these videos, the blessings come back to the source. So if all of you have some prayers for Audrey's mom, could you ask God to help Audrey's mom, who's got a bad case of cancer? And, like the blessings go back to the source, so do the miracles. So we're praying, that her mom can survive. And so, okay, you guys, God bless you all.